For the Unit 7 review, number 1, we have to decide how we're going to solve this. So this would be finding square roots, and so I would solve it like a typical equation. I would add to both sides, and we have x squared equals 121. And then to get rid of my exponent, I would square root both sides and get x equals plus or minus 11. So that would be C. Okay, and number 2, I would try factoring first because I have the 3 terms, okay, that equal 0. We have that middle term as well. So 1 times negative 16 is negative 16. The middle term is negative 6. And if I look at the factors of 16, they would be 1 and 16, 2 and 8, 4 and 4. So I would look to see which pair can make a negative 6. So 2 and 8 could subtract to make negative 6, where 8 is negative. And if you remember, when you have the smaller number first and the bigger number second, these signs have to match on this side of the x. So I write in factored form, x plus 2, x minus 8 equals 0. I set each expression equal to 0. And then I just solve each equation. So here I would subtract 2. And this would give me a negative 2. Here I would add 8. And x would be a positive 8 because 0 plus 8 is 8. So I'm looking for the answers of negative 2 and positive 8. So that's A. If you can see, this 2 and negative 8 that's up here, that choice is meant to trick you. So make sure that you are doing the opposite solutions. Okay, A. In number 3, I would try factoring. And I see that, okay, for 11, the only factors of 11 are 1 and 11. None of these are going to make 8. So we can't factor. So I would go ahead and label each part ABC, and I would use the quadratic formula to solve this. So the formula for the quadratic formula is written up here for you. So I'm going to reference it, like going back and forth. So x equals negative b. Well, my b value is 8. Plus or minus the square root. Then it has a b here, so b squared would be 8 squared. Minus 4 times the a value and then times the c value. So a is 1, c is 11. I'm going to divide the entire top by 2 times a, and a again is 1. Okay, so now I need to simplify and do negative 8 plus or minus. The 8 squared becomes 64. And then I do negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. And then I don't use the negative 4 anymore. So I get rid of that. And I say negative 4 times 11 is negative 44. All over 2 times 1, which is 2. And then lastly, I would want to simplify this part here. So x equals negative 8 plus or minus 64 minus 44 would be 20. And then divide by 2. But 20 is not a perfect square, so I would want to do a factor tree for 20. And I get 4 times 5, 2 and 2. So I have a 2 radical 5 that replaces this part right here. So I would say negative 8 plus or minus 2 radical 5 divided by 2. Lastly, I would simplify the negative 8, the 2, and the 2 by 2. So negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And 2 divided by 2 is 1. So I'm looking for a negative 4 plus or minus radical 5. I don't need either of these ones. So it would be B. And then lastly, for number 4, This is also finding square roots like number 1. So I'm going to subtract the 5 from both sides. And I would get 49. And then I would take the square root of both sides and get plus or minus 7. So that would be D. Okay.